Oh, Urban Hippie Podcast, back at you.
What up?
Alex Cooley, co-founder of Solstice Cannabis out here in Washington State.
Absolutely.
Glad to have you on, man.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks,
Yeah,
bud.
Whiskey Papi was good, baby.
Hey, just just got my guy in here today. Gonna talk about some fun things. Just what were we smoking on earlier?
Some 3D.
3D. Wildfire. And
Bred by the Swamp Ice, Wildfire number 3, and Nigerian.
Love that.
Yeah, I'm a big Wildfire fan.
I feel you
or
on
the
that.
white in general.
I'm feeling on that.
Yeah.
That's got me. I definitely feel that Nigerian. Now.
It's a conflicting experience, isn't it?
It is.
It's
it really
It's
is.
an effect that pulls you both ways.
Right.
And
Love
but it's not too. It doesn't spin in the mind too much for me. But you
That
feel
was OG
that.
Rascals, right?
Yeah, OG Rascals was Whitefire number 3, and Whitefire number 3.
They got that one right.
Yeah, and then Whitefire number 3 came from the white and something else, and the white was Swamp Boys.
How many strains you guys growing?
I'm just reworking our pathway right now, and sadly, we only got like about 50 in the full mix that I can play with right now, and then we got another 20 or so in development.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Solid.
Yeah.
I mean, with recreational, you can't have too many though.
No,
it's not like the old days.
it's all about
you can really
flavors.
play. I mean, you got to be consistent. You're building brands.
Yeah.
You get cut. I mean, that was the one thing that customers expect you to have that strain. Like, if you don't have that strain on the shelf, they're gonna go to the next strain. And you probably know better than a lot of people that people have like their strain.
They do,
Yeah.
but then also everybody loves that new.
Yeah.
Like it's a hard psyche to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It really is. But yeah, always looking for the new, but always trying to keep the staples.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta have that staple.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That was fun, man. How's cannabis life in Washington State treating you?
Cannabis life is great. Washington State is good. I mean, as we all know, Washington has been harder, but I think all of them have been hard. I have the opportunity to look at a lot of states and countries overall, and everybody goes through their growing pains. And at the end of the day, I'm just incredibly grateful that we all get to, so liberally engage with this plant when, I've spent most of my life with it and have never been able to be so liberal about it. Like, smoke an L up on the roof. Nobody worries about it.
Yeah.
In full broad daylight.
Yep. And then even people around it, they're just like just nonchalant about it as well.
It's really nice to see how everyone has evolved.
Yeah.
And rather quickly.
I'm just glad it's getting to people who otherwise wouldn't have access to it. They're not going to go through the drug dealer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right?
God.
The
Yeah.
people who just, the stigma of going to a drug dealer was just so beyond them that now they can go into a store.
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell people, even though I don't agree with a lot of the laws, and I wish they did more with the plant as far as hemp and stuff. Finally, they're getting better, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, pass it with the Fed.
But it's how dope is it that you can turn 21 years old or 18 in a lot of medical states and go work in a cannabis store?
Yeah.
That's dope.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine that if we were growing up? Hey, I turned 18 and I'm gonna go get a job in this medical store.
Yeah.
Even moving here and going to college and all that, and your first job instead of hustling tables or whatever, you can go
Work in the shop.
sell weed, legally.
Or go help grow it. It is, a really cool experience that wasn't available to any of us really at that age. But it really has sparked a lot of, positive experiences with employment. Sparked a lot of entrepreneurs. I mean, I've become an entrepreneur myself. Never planned to be, but because of the opportunities in the plant, it became that way. But also, we've got so many great people at Solstice who are, just wonderful parts of the team, and to see it from their experience as well is really, really impactful. We've had people move across the goddamn country to
that's crazy.
Come work at the factory. Literally apply for the job from Florida, get the job, and move out.
Wow. Yeah, I work with several people like that. Came here on vacation.
No shit.
Yeah, applied. Went
Was
back
it
to
August
Florida.
or something? They're
actually, it was
people say
July.
it rains all the time. It's so nice here, and they got these pot shops.
That's 3 months out of the year.
I'm staying.
I was on the water taxi, and I was just kind of I was going out to West Seattle, and I was just kind of chilling, and there's this family behind me, and they're from Tennessee, and they're it's 90 degrees out, right? And they're sitting back there. This is the only shorts we brought out here because we heard it rains all the time, but it's beautiful. And I'm thinking to myself,
it's not the rain that it gets.
This is the whole.
It's the gray, man.
It's the gray.
Yeah.
You don't see that sun. Like you don't get your vitamin D, man.
I know.
I love the gray. I live for the gray.
You like the gray?
I like my
like the gray area a lot.
Favorite in the world, is 45 degrees and raining.
Really?
Because it means snow.
Okay, yeah.
It means snow in the mountains.
Yep, that's right.
And I will take that every day of the week. But we get everything.
The beautiful thing about the Pacific Northwest, like just living overseas and stuff, like the thing about up here is we get every season, and we don't get the extreme of every season, which is nice.
Yep, that's right.
You know,
maybe a little jab in the face with like 6 inches of snow or 95 degrees. Just pop.
Yeah, you gotta
everybody
make sure
realizes
you're
they
alive.
apparently you can't drive when it's fucking slushy snow that's melting when you drive over it.
I don't think we got great drivers.
I don't like the stereotype, but it's quicker. But we have a lot of Asians out here.
I don't like but it is faster.
It's
to do.
I save a lot of time doing it.
When you,
I have no problem being wrong either.
Yeah, 100%. But also when you get cut off by someone, or like I drive a lot, and I take driving very, very serious. And I notice when people do all types of things. I notice if someone uses their signal, if they use their signal for a long period of time, a short period of time. Predominantly when it is the most egregious of things. Yes, it is an Asian woman. Yeah. But mad respect to my Asian women.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Mad respect.
Or old people.
Old people's a very common one.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Do you not have to renew your license?
Nope.
Nope.
They are the most common.
I mean, we can make this whole podcast about my strategy to fix driving.
We ride the waves out here.
You hit the nail on the head with the first one. Is we obviously have to have a better testing program. So reoccurring tests, obviously, but first and foremost, education. Yeah. You know, we're not educating people how to drive appropriately, and then we kind of throw them a softball of a test. Dude,
very softball.
One time I was in San Francisco getting an ID to go get a medical card back in the day, and at the DMV in San Fran, beautiful day, as it always is. Well, not always, but most of the time it's San Francisco. And the guy standing at the counter, like completing his written test, and he's like the DMV guy hands it back to him, like, and he's like, dude, you this is your third time. Like, answer 30 feet on this one, answer 100 feet on this one, and like, I'll pass you and you can go. And it was like, what, dude? Like, you're gonna, I know it's just the written, but like, what are you doing?
He's going to get behind a wheel now?
Yeah, well, can you guess the men's ethnicity? Excuse me.
Whiskey Papi?
Yes, on both sides of the coin. And so we got to educate people. We got to test her more appropriately. And we just got to like adhere to the simple rules of it and actually test people for it and test them regularly for it. And I mean, we would be doing a whole lot better. Yeah. Way less traffic. But that's not going to happen. So autonomous vehicles. So that's what's going to fix it, in my opinion.
I think we should just kill stupid people.
I mean,
I hate to say it, but somebody said this to me at a bar like 6 months ago, and I just like every time I meet a stupid person, I was like, I wish I could just kill you now. And it's this old dude, white hair, white handlebar mustache, and told me, I just think we should kill stupid people. It was so fucking serious. He was dead serious. He wasn't joking. He wasn't like making light of it. He was just like, he's like, you know, he's been obviously like a military guy too. Yeah. So I wish I could just kill stupid people. If we could just kill stupid people.
But you gotta have like a good baseline of stupid, because I do dumb shit.
Yeah, same.
Probably on the regular.
I would probably get killed.
Yeah, I think we'd all eventually kill each other as a result of that. Like now, I'm now truly certifiable. Like, dude.
Yeah,
we're not doing this a fourth time.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm on board with that. But the like in the instant, like
you strike out some Alabama where they're like chemically castrating pedophiles.
Are they?
Yeah.
I mean, good.
Right after they go pro-life and just ban abortions.
I mean, if you're gonna ban abortions, like you should create pathways
for those guys.
Yeah. I mean, most of these states that ban abortion or have very aggressive abortion laws don't have very positive laws for children or lots of funding for them. It's a weird formula that works out.
Divide and conquer, baby.
Yeah, they got to make it harder to have kids. So if they're starting to castrate someone, like, all right, cool. And pedophiles is a great place to start.
Let's start with the pedophiles.
Yeah, you know what? I'm for it.
Yeah.
I've always said, I think you should have a license to have a kid.
Oh, I'm a firm believer in that.
That's a great topic.
Oh, well,
I agree.
That's how you fix driving. Let's be real.
No,
birth licenses?
I agree.
Absolutely.
That's better than killing people off.
You don't get...
Just decide that dumb people can't have kids.
You're less likely to have stupid people if people aren't just freely having children, especially on accident. Like, I always bring up Denmark. I believe it's Denmark, a Scandinavian country, Denmark or Norway, does that. And it's not explicitly a birth license, but it's, it's a socialized country. And so they have socialized medicine. They have all these social services. And so if you want the state to pay for your kid, like your birth is paid for, all of your childcare is paid for, all your schooling, any school you want to go to is paid for. If you want all those things paid for, you have to go through this process. And it's a license. They come in and inspect your home. You take tests. You provide a plan on how you're going to raise this child and who's going to work what, who's going to be home for this, and all those sorts of things. And then they grant you a license to have a child. And then you're allowed to go through the process. And if you don't want to do that, you're more than welcome to have a kid in the wilderness, like all for your decision and your right to do that. But if you want all these services and you want all of this support, you have to go through the process. And
I love it.
they've done very well as a result of it.
I can see that working.
I can see that.
Yeah.
You have to have a license for everything else. Gun, car.
I always tell people, like, with the whole, like, pro-life, not to get into it, but, like, the whole pro-life, pro-choice thing, I was like, my thing is, like, your decision to have a child or not isn't made in a fucking doctor's office. It's made in a bedroom or a couch or
a
backseat of
wherever it is
Cherokee
you decided that. I always tell people like I don't like heights, right?
Yeah.
But I've always known, like, before I had kids, like, I knew I was gonna jump out of a plane and what do you call it, skydive?
Yeah.
At some point in my life, just to conquer it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But once I had kids, I had to rethink it. And I'm like, look, I can't do it. I'm gonna have to figure out the other side. Like, so I went like cliff diving, jumping out, into like water and shit.
Yeah.
But I was like, the reason I won't jump out of a plane is for that 0.001% chance that my parachute doesn't open.
It's crazy, man.
That's why I won't do it. So if you're that scared about having a kid, well,
100%. Yeah,
now am I saying that people should be telling you that you can and can't do things? No,
but we could all be more prepared to do it. And so it's an interesting topic because my wife's halfway completed with pregnancy, so we're 5 months pregnant.
Hey, congratulations!
Thank you. Yeah. And so I've been spending a whole lot of time thinking about it, and once you have that kid, it definitely, like, or even down that road, it changes all of your thoughts and feelings on pro-life, pro-choice, and all.
Wait till it's here.
I can't even imagine, dude.
I got number 3 due in a month.
Really?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's gonna blow my mind.
Daughter, man.
However, there's no decision in my life that I've taken more serious.
Right. No, absolutely.
And I wish more and more people did. And I think we would have, as a result, we'd have less stupid people, and I think we'd have a better community and like tribe and country as a result overall. Like if we all put that type of intention into how we build our populace. Like I mean, not to say I did it perfectly by any means, but just to be thoughtful with important decisions, and I don't think a lot of people do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we teach people to be selfish, right? I mean, it's a me culture that
true.
For me, it's just like I always tell people, like, especially young people, it's like, what are you filling your mind with? What are you filling your content with?
Yeah.
What's going in there? Is it entertainment, TV, and, video games type shit, or is it knowledge, and is it, or is it action and experience? I think Joe Rogan said it pretty good too. It's like, a lot of depression just comes from extra energy.
Yeah.
And it's like it doesn't have to be physical per se, but if you're not challenging yourself either physically or mentally, you have extra energy to put. There's just extra space to maybe be negative, right?
Well, another angle to come at that from, what's the most rewarding experiences you've ever had, is exerting that energy in a profound and positive way. And so if you're not doing that, and if you're not expressing that, that'd suck.
That makes sense.
People live in misery loves company, man.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you think about what sells, and it's like, like we were talking about, comedians earlier, right? Like, people don't want to go, like Kevin Hart can't go on stage and tell you how dope his life is.
Yeah.
You know, you want to know.
You want to hear the struggle.
What makes you normal? What makes me be able to relate to you? I can't tell you what it's like to be driving around in, chauffeured cars and living in mansions and island hopping, and it's like no, like, what makes you insecure?
Yeah,
what fuck ups did you make?
Because we all got the fuck ups.
Yep, exactly.
And it's
especially
it's
when
being relatable.
Especially when you do fuck up and you can like read a book or watch a documentary and then be like, oh man, this guy's like went through some way more shit than I'm going through. You know what? My fuck up ain't that bad. My life ain't that bad.
Yeah. No, the context is good. I feel like most of my fuck ups are found in hindsight now, which is nice. Like they definitely happen. There's plenty of fuck ups in the present, but those are smaller. Like the big ones, it's like 6 months later, driving, and you're like, oh shit, I coulda, or I shoulda. And I think that's just learning, and, growing, and seeing like that was a mistake. I have improved. Like that's how I approach all of it. Is just constantly be working your ass off and doing the best you can while attempting to improve the process you've built. At all times. Understanding what you're doing is incredibly important, and you should put everything you have into it while trying to say, this is not the right way to do things. Should I turn a little harder? Should I turn a little softer? And then applying it back in. That's been one of the most fulfilling parts of my life, is just that. And the lack of that pent-up energy is using that energy to go like, all right, how good are we playing this game? Can we play this game better? Okay, let's analyze that. Let's look at it while driving on it. It seems to be kind of one of the most rewarding ones that I go about.
Yeah, no, it's dope. So what would you say you've learned about yourself and just doing the cannabis game legally?
Oh man.
Before?
I'd argue I've learned everything about myself. I've become a man. I've become 100% who I am. So I've been in the game for a pretty long time. So this is all I've ever done. This has been my only career. And I think it counted one time. I think it was like my fourth or fifth job. And so, I started growing cannabis when I was 21 in college. And so the consciousness of this discussion of perfecting how you work through life, I've learned that about myself. I learned depression and how to work through depression. I learned how to be a businessman. I learned how to be a husband. I'm learning how to be a father. Like I've done all that as a result of being in cannabis. It is the most constant thing in my entire life, other than my mother and brother. Like arguably it's been right there the whole time. It's been really nice.
Yeah, man. I always tell you, man.
I really thought about that.
I wouldn't know like 75% of the people if it wasn't that I know in my life. If it wasn't for weed.
I wouldn't know 75% of the people. I wouldn't know fucking 10% of what I know. Like, the cannabis industry has definitely been like, it's been the school of hard knocks Harvard in a weird way. Like
you're right. Yeah.
Like you learn the street, you learn the book, you learn.
You're fully incumbent in about
everything.
Of life.
And like, I don't believe, in God, but I do like saying by the grace of God. I was born and raised in the South, so I've got a few of those. But by the grace of God, being in this business and it happening when it happened, and when I came of age, like I forget the author's name, but the book Outliers. Like
Outliers?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Phenomenal book.
Yeah.
Oh, phenomenal. High read recommendation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Outliers is a great book. You ever read Outliers?
No.
Did you read it in school, or did you read
I read it I read it like 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh,
okay.
Outliers. I read that in school like young.
Dude, I wish I would have been. So many things I wish I would have been hip to when I was young.
Yeah, everything in school, I just assumed everybody did it.
Yeah, oh, really? For sure.
No, honestly, because it's all standard. I just assumed that everybody fucking did everything that we did.
I was selling weed.
Yeah. I started when I was 16.
I was smoking weed.
Yeah. No, actually, selling weed I didn't start till college. Actually, I sold lids, hats, and Mitchell & Ness jerseys in high school.
Oh, yeah, I was selling herb the whole time. Yeah,
I was smoking.
I think since like middle school. Yeah, I was always.
I would be buying weed from you in high school.
I was always hustling the herb, man.
I like it.
I loved hustling the herb.
It brings people together, man.
It really does.
It really does,
dude.
And if you believe in God, He created it.
Yeah, 100%.
It's a plant.
But like to bring people together. So when I really started selling herb was I changed high schools halfway through high school. So junior year I was at a new school, and my strategy to make friends, sell herb.
Yeah.
And so like I came from the east side. I went to Issaquah High, and then I went to Highline High in Burien. So I went I did the opposite of the Huxtables, and so I had the east side plugs of fire.
Yeah.
And so I'd go back to the east side and I'd get herb and I'd go and hustle it back at Highline.
And they'd be like, "What is this?"
I had that lemon, man.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, it is the best way to get invited to every party. Every party. And
Alex got that lemon, man.
That was the move. Yeah. That was 100% the move. And
and you got to back up too. You know, they'll back you up. Like, hey, don't fuck with that.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with Alex. He got that lemon, man.
Yeah, because then I got the hood homies. Like, and that experience is so much like the cannabis experience.
Yeah.
And why, like, because I have a pretty scattered brain, and so the ability to engage with so many different things and so many different people and is so rewarding. And I don't know if I would have been able to do anything else. Like the amount of different things I get to engage with on a weekly basis is very rewarding.
It's just such a multifaceted plant, you know what I mean? From hemp to the OGs.
Yeah. Well, and like
and just like
a business from nothing too is so many different dynamic things of it. Like, I don't think a person like me and my background and pedigree would really have as much of an opportunity in 20, 30 years in this business because it'll just be so established.
Yeah.
To whereas
and the amount of research, I mean, like since I don't know when they abolished it in the 30s or whatever it was. But I mean, think about all that time we could have been researching the plant.
Oh yeah,
like all the research that's came out just in the last X amount of years since it was legalized.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's remarkable, bro. Yeah. And it's like when you start to understand like hempcrete and anything a tree can do, this plant can do better.
Yeah,
right. Hempcrete's fireproof.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah. I heard
or that. Plastic is biodegradable.
Or you can run your vehicle on it.
You know what I
mean? Yeah.
Terpy
sure.
CBD.
For terps.
Yeah, right.
Henry Ford might, because it's like the stuff we're dabbing now. Like I mean, you make distillate from the same pieces of equipment that you make gasoline from.
Yeah. I mean, you can run cars on water.
Yeah.
Anything you want, man. Like, that's a slippery. That's a rabbit hole for you. The Nikola Tesla, Thomas Edison. Yeah, I remember Elon Musk said that he was going Thomas Edison because he learned how to monopolize it, or to basically turn it into a business. I was like, oh, wow, you're an asshole in public too.
So was Edison, though, man. That guy's story is crazy.
People start,
he was.
You like conspiracy theories?
He was.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah. How deep are you? Where do you go with the conspiracy? Like, when I say conspiracy theories, where does your mind go?
Always 9/11. Like 9/11 loose change, Alex Jones type shit. Yeah, that's usually where my head goes.
That's how I got. Well, yeah.
Well, you got.
That's how I got.
Who's listening to this?
Yeah, right.
All of them.
That's how I got hooked in a little bit. The thing that always fucked me up, man. Like, I've always looked at the moon, right? And when the first time somebody told me that the moon is lit up by the sun's rays and that that's a rock, I was like, hold up. No, that's a light, bro. Like that. Like, what? You can't light up a circular rock in every, because it curves, right? So there's gonna be a shadow. That's how you know it's, spherical.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the moon, that's 100% lit up from corner to corner, from side to side, from perimeter to perimeter. That's physically impossible. Like, and don't tell me you're telling me that that's not a light.
Oh my God, are we going flat Earth here?
Well, I
mean, are we?
I don't like to. No,
it's okay.
Nah,
I thought we were going moon landing fake. I thought we were going. I thought we were going.
That's basic. Do you think we landed humans on the moon?
I don't. Yeah. So I take this perspective in life, and it's a really nice, easy cop out. Is that
you're smart though?
Yeah,
you're smart.
Is that if I wasn't there and a person who was there didn't tell me directly, I don't fucking know, man. So I just go, I don't know.
I don't know.
I think that's the best cop out you can have. I'm gonna use that.
Do it.
I'm gonna use that.
It's a nice one. I don't know, bro.
I love it.
I know this.
I agree.
I know this. I have not been to the moon. I know this. And Neil Armstrong did not. Or honestly,
did you see the video, the press conference after they went?
No.
Oh
yeah.
The most depressing press conference ever. You just landed on the moon.
It was great.
It definitely points to I'm so angry I'm fucking lying about this.
I don't even think they were mad. I just think they were guilty. I mean they never did interviews. They all turned into alcoholics.
Well, one of my
if you've ever seen Buzz.
Yeah. One of my favorite Neil Armstrong stories is that as the conspiracy theory was getting turned up, like a couple years after or something, a journalist came up to him with like a microphone camera trying to like ambush him or some shit because they didn't give interviews. And they're like, was it fake? Tell us it was fake. And he punched him the fuck out. He just beat the shit out of him. So like, I've never even met an astronaut. So like
if I meet an astronaut, I'm just laughing in their face.
So
off the bat.
So yeah, I don't know. I haven't been there, nor have I met an astronaut.
Yeah, no, I think.
But if it was faked, I would love if Stanley Kubrick did it, because that's what they say. They say Kubrick faked it.
I heard that. I heard that one.
Stanley Kubrick and Walt Disney are best friends. You ever notice how rockets always go up and then they come back down? Like it's the arc, right? It's actually the Disney logo. That's what. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. If you ever show me a rocket. I mean, you think like if an amateur shoot, like all the amateur rockets that they shoot, they go straight up. The stuff that they what was it, Operation Fishbowl, where the government was shooting bombs at just straight up in the air. It was after.
Trying to pop the fucking ozone or some shit like that. So,
just seeing what was up there.
Like, can we blow this up?
Right.
Yeah.
So
let's do that.
So everything.
Because it was part of what's the weather control group? HARP. Yeah. HARP. Yeah. Part of HARP.
Yep.
The cloud makers. The weather makers.
Did you see those photos of the California wildfires? But there's 3 or 4 pictures of it. Looks like a laser.
There's
Jamie, pull it up.
I know. At some point we'll get
a screen.
We'll get a.
This is a good view though.
We're gonna get a Jamie soon.
It's about nature out here.
Yeah.
But no, man.
Hold on. So tell me about these photos.
So, bro, you're talking about like cul-de-sacs where the houses are disintegrated and the trees around them are still standing, and that's a forest fire.
Well, that can happen. Yeah, certain trees can withstand forest fires, like super old pines and firs. Yeah, they can take like thousands of degrees of heat.
No, I mean the shit in like your backyard.
Shit in your backyard.
No,
there's an actual photo.
It's a cul-de-sac and the houses are
gone,
and the trees are everything around is still standing. There's like cars like melted metal on the concrete and shit. Like, so if you get deep into conspiracy theories with Thomas Edison, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nikola Tesla, the last thing that he was doing before he basically got shamed in the media and basically defunded.
Yep.
He was working on what he called the death ray.
Yeah, transference of energy, right?
So what they're saying,
wireless power exchange.
So what they're saying is like when they knocked, when he suicided himself or whatever happened to him,
he just
they came and
what happened to him?
A derelict.
He
just lost all his money.
Thomas Edison
basically
deplatformed him. He lost all his funding. Thomas Edison basically cut him off.
Yep.
Because he was gonna Nikola Tesla wanted to get free energy.
Well, Tesla beat Edison every time too.
Yeah. Well,
AC versus DC, all that. Yeah.
That's who he was funding him.
Oh, but Edison was funding Tesla?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Edison's the one who cut off his funding.
Really?
And then they started shaming him in the media, basically, the whole smear campaign. But
Really?
they said the last thing he was working on was called the death ray. And then when he died, the government came in, took all his files, and they were saying that these are the death ray files. So then the conspiracy theory is, what they actually say this, they try and say the same about like 9/11 if you want to get back to that one. It's like, they have directed energy weapons now where it's literally just a laser beam that disintegrates what's there. And they're showing you things that, like animals that are just petrified. Like stiff, petrified, and they're showing you cars that have because I was in California, so it was like big in the news.
Yeah, it's huge.
And, like trending down there.
Yeah.
And it's like they're showing you these different things, like metal, like from cars just melted, like stuff that's physically impossible with fire, right? Like it's not. It's like back to the 9/11.
Yeah.
Like jet fuel
does not burn a building down like that.
Jet fuel makes a building fall, but it's only happened 3 times in history, and it all happened on the same day,
back to back, within hours of each other. Yeah.
Good old Building 6.
It's crazy. Building 7.
7. Thank you.
7, yeah.
Tower.
So what are your thoughts on it, man? What's your 9/11?
Again, the easiest fallback.
You weren't there?
Easiest fallback. I was.
We don't got too big of a crowd.
I was not there. Nor. Well, I have had several friends tell me about it. I got a good amount of friends in New York, and what I fundamentally believe at this point, after so many years and going through and reading everything that I could and reading large chunks of the 9/11 report, is that that's bullshit. What happened, they obviously are not being honest about, and we know to the extent of Saudi Arabia now and all these sorts of things. I am a firm believer that our government lies to us regularly. Something like that they'll never be honest about. So, did they let engineers in to what is it? Sort of the the quick burn demo stuff. Did they let them into wrap columns? I don't know. But there is so much contradicting information, like Building 7, with a clear and easy representation of that. We're fundamentally being lied to. I hope that I don't end up in one of those buildings. I'm very sorry for the people who did. But yeah.
Not to make light of it, but did you see the video of when, have you seen the video of when Bush found out about it when they told him?
Oh, in the elementary school, yeah.
And what's the lady doing on the board? Like, it's plane, hit, steal.
Oh, no, I never caught that part.
Go watch it again.
Really?
It's just crazy.
Jeez.
Really?
When you watch the full video, she's like, they're going over, like, it's like the whole class. She's like, it's like the paper, one word written on it, and then she flips it over. It's like plane. And then it's not like in order, right? Like, it's within, a bunch of words. Right?
Gotcha.
But, when they clip it and they,
piece it together.
Right? But still, it's plane, hit, steal. Those are the 3 I remember. But it's like, and then some dude just walks in, and, he just whispers in his ear, and he just goes, okay.
But why?
I'm not saying it was him or anything, I'm not saying anything like that. But like, it was just like
fucking Cheney and Rumsfeld.
If somebody just told me the fucking Twin Towers just got fucking.
Well, I mean,
freak out.
I'm like,
to be real, he was never the sharpest.
Yeah, well, I mean, any president's a puppet. I mean,
true.
If you think the president's running the world, well,
100%. 100%.
What corporation changes out their CEO every 4 years?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Or you can only be CEO for maybe 8 years.
8 years. Yeah. No, if you're working, we're keeping you.
What are your feelings on Trump? I love Trump.
I mean,
I fucking love.
I'm so conflicted about that, man. Like, it's not a guy I want to have a beer with. I'll put it that way.
I agree with that.
And I am a firm believer in the have a beer with politician.
Well, he actually doesn't drink.
He doesn't. He's a teetotaler. Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Total teetotaler.
Yeah. Drinks Diet Coke.
Or he's on some pills, maybe.
McDonald's
for sure.
and Diet Coke.
Prescriptions. Yeah.
McDonald's and prescription pills.
Yeah. Interesting cat. Super interesting cat. A lot of conflicted
He's polarizing.
things.
No matter what you say about him, he's polarizing.
Very much so. And like there are, which I think is really important to look at everybody with. There are things that he does that I agree with. There are things that he does that I do not agree with.
I feel you.
There are things that I'm grateful for him doing as our president. There's a lot of things I'm very ungrateful for him doing as our president. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, fuck that guy. Like, I've never met that guy. So
I'm at least going to give somebody a chance.
Yeah, 100%. And like being in politics for so long.
And anybody telling Hillary Clinton they should be in jail, I'm good with. I don't want to get suicided, but
yeah, like
the mic drop moment when they were on stage and like something. She's like, you know, something about you not being president. Is like, yeah, because if I was, you'd be in jail.
Yeah. She's a fucking peach. That was
the Clintons are crazy. I don't even want to get in the Clintons.
Yeah, there's some deep conspiracy theories. I don't want none of your problems. Yeah, man. That was the hardest thing I've ever done as a citizen was fill in that bubble. Did it for my wife.
Vote for Hillary?
Did it for my wife. Did it for you, babe.
I've never voted. I'll never vote.
Oh, really? Wow.
I don't believe.
It's my right to complain. It's my right to complain.
Yeah. Well, see, I actually feel the opposite. I think if you voted for this, then you don't have a right to complain.
I think,
and I just heard this like 2 weeks ago, and
I'll put
on some interview. Like I was like, oh, I'm gonna take that one. Yeah.
I'll put it to you this way: it is all of our responsibilities as a citizen of the United States to participate in the process, and voting is one of the ways to participate in the process.
I don't accept the process.
The process is dog shit.
Yeah, I don't accept it.
But none of us like the process because we were told
we're not gonna get away from it. There's two ways to get away with it. Or get away from it. Either keep voting and change,
we have massively.
It can be changed. I'm not saying it's not possible. Or war. And I'm gonna take the voting route.
I don't know.
I feel that
the Second Amendment ain't strong enough for us to fight our military.
So my argument for that though is think about this: the military has families.
Well, you have to flip the military. It has to be a military coup.
When shit starts happening to these people's families, when it really becomes us against them, if it were us against the government, it's just when it starts affecting their families. If the government isn't in the right, I think that there will be
there is absolutely that possibility. But to reach the critical mass of organization to stand up it's pretty difficult. It's never gonna get to that. It's pretty, and I don't think it will. And
people aren't gonna look up from their phones long enough to realize.
100%.
To realize your raps,
and like my thing, because I'm the ultimate conspiracy theorist. I believe in everything.
Yeah.
I'll just as anything with the government, I don't believe it. They're proven liars and criminals.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I'm not gonna trust the drug dealer on the corner. I'm not gonna trust the government.
Fair.
It's just the way it works. And until you prove me something different, I'm just gonna go with what makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Unless you can show me something scientific or something that I can duplicate.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you what, like the way we're not going to change it is people just voting for president. Like you're not doing shit. Well, if that's all you do is you show up every 4 years and that's when you cast your ballot.
Like local, all the difference is like your local government. Like, who are your local mayors? Who are your local DAs?
Yeah,
that's what changes. I mean, that's what systemically changes things.
Right? I think
president. Like I said, what company is changing out their CEO every 4 years? Right? Like they're not running anything. They're just they're a figure. I mean, they're doing stuff.
But great. I mean, and obviously, this was put in by the powers that be. But in the last 100 years, which is not that long of a period of time, but pretty long for our country, we had incredibly positive and prolific presidents. The Roosevelt's is what always comes to mind for me, who truly did create positive change in our country and moved around what we believe this country to be. But I think a lot of the frustration and angst of why people don't really agree with the government is we were told a fairy tale about our government as children. Like, we didn't get real civics by any fucking means, and we were told that it's a full democracy and one person, one vote, and now we're with the information, because we're all coming of age during the information revolution of like, oh shit, that's bullshit. There's not one person, one vote. This isn't a true democracy in the truest sense of the form. And so we're like, what? Were they just telling you this shit before for you to think that you were a part of this?
They weren't ready for the internet.
No.
It's that everything about what the powers that be are doing is a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Because we gave up our privacy.
Yeah.
But we gained access to information.
So much information. But
except for the 50 miles buried under the Vatican. That's you can't go inside.
But there is so much misinformation and disinformation now, which there always has been. But the double-edged sword of the internet of like, holy shit, man. It's impossible to know what's true anymore.
Yeah, it is. And
you can look into anything and everything. Mm-hmm. And that's, again, why I really double down on this. If I didn't see it, I wasn't there. Like,
and then on top of that, you, me, anybody else could create
100%
a fabrication right away that somebody else across the country, across the world, 2 doors down is going to take absolute serious.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you just I try to look at it of like, where's the motive to fake this?
Yeah.
Like the laser guy with the leveler, that could all be fake. I don't know that.
I don't know.
Yeah. But where's the motive? Little to no motive.
What are we faking? Besides moon landings?
I like the flag waving on the moon. By the way, like wasn't there?
Everything about
no
this
atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's like when did the lights turn off? You ever seen the moon photos and the videos?
Yeah.
It's dark and sandy.
Yeah.
And dull.
And then it's bright.
When the fuck is the moon? Were they on the dark side? Oh, they were.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Every time I get into it, I go, I got way better shit to do with my time.
Yeah.
That's usually where I land. I'm like, and I'm all for guilty pleasures. That's just not my guilty pleasure.
I became a flat earther in 20 minutes. I was like, okay, it's flat. And it was Thanksgiving in 17. I was like, all right, what's for dinner? I swear to God.
Turkey.
I was like, right when you said water needs a container, it always finds its level. The physics of water, it always finds its level, seeks its level. And the earth is 70% water, so 70% is flat. 1 + 1 = 2. Okay, good. Got it. I swear to God,
Stuffing,
20 minutes. I swear to God, my family hates me for this.
Were you watching something or somebody talking to you?
It was an Eric Dubay video.
Okay.
I watched Eddie Bravo on Joe Rogan. Got it to me on first, and I just love Eddie Bravo, right? Just in general, right? And like he was talking about the Eric Dubay video. It was the history of flat Earth. So it was, and so what he does is he takes you through. And I'm Greek, right? So a lot of that goes back to the Greeks. And he just takes you through the history of flat Earth, and you start realizing that we've only believed the Earth is a globe for less than 1% of the time we've been on Earth.
Yeah, something like
recorded history. We have 6,000 years of recorded history, right?
Yeah.
So 6,000 years of recorded history, we've thought it was a globe for less than 1%. It's like 0.08%. 500 out of 6,000 is less than 1%, right?
Yeah.
So everybody who ever stepped on Earth before us, every other culture other than NASA. And like, have you ever seen the meme of like all the cult? And I'm not a religious guy, and so actually it was funny, like when you say like like you don't believe in God, right? Like I didn't believe in God per se. I'd said it as a joke. I believe in the Greek gods. Like I've always believed in a higher.
It's your culture.
Right,
that's how you're raised.
Right.
Yeah.
I've always believed in a higher being, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think I've always known like something made this, right? Like,
Like
when somebody told me the Big Bang was everything created nothing, I just looked at it and I said, "Fuck you too."
There's just too much.
Like we all started in the water, and then we were. You ever see the South Park?
I haven't seen that one.
Oh my God! Watch the South Park clip. It's the teacher, right, in the classroom, and he's like, so you're all a bunch of retarded fucking like half minnow, half fucking squirrel monkeys, you fucking retard. Like, and because like the story of evolution is the Big Bang, everything created, nothing created everything. We started off as minnows in a fucking pond, and then we were fucking minnow squirrels running on land, and then we turned into monkeys, and then we
then out of the trees.
I'm like, what kind of monkey are you? Oh no, that's where all the monkeys that didn't make it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Where all the hybrid monkeys.
Yeah.
Well, they do say they've seen them found the bones.
I've seen a few. You just got to go to Walmart.
I try to keep away from Walmart.
Yeah.
Costco's as low as I go. It's brutal.
Have you seen the Simpsons one of that where it's like the evolution of Mo, and it's like You know.
Oh yeah, Mo is a fish. And then, I remember that.
He's like a guy. Then he turns into a rat.
Yeah.
No.
This is like it's kind of. You know,
no, I love it, man. Like for me, it's like I just don't understand why people get so offended. Like in this PC culture,
people want to be like Misery Loves Company. Fucking being offended is the ultimate of that.
It's the new orange.
Yeah,
it's the new orange.
It's like orange, calm the fuck down, and just be like, and that's really easy to say, but I also get turned up too.
Right.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you don't get paid for being offended.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, some people do, but I don't want their job.
No, I'm good.
But yeah, like I think the inability to communicate with your fellow human. I am angry at you. Here's why.
Right.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Let's find a resolution.
Yeah, and one thing I always talk about too, with, like people is just not being into politics, right? Like I don't identify with Republican, right? Left,
same.
Blue, red, donkey, elephant, whatever it is. But
call me a squirrel.
But the one thing that I've noticed is that the right and Republicans are a lot more open to have dialogue and conversation. Like whereas the left just gets so fucking offended. Like
I'll tell you what,
it's gotten so. I don't like putting the left with like Democrat, right? Like I think there's extremists that are.
I think that's the true reality
on both
we're
sides
experiencing is the extremism,
right?
And I'm rather involved in politics, and having gone to DC probably, I don't know, a dozen times over the last 5-6 years, and lobbying Congress is. All of them do it. Yeah. All of them make you go, motherfucker, you're a fucking politician.
Have you ever? I always tell people, I was like, have you ever met a politician?
They're a fucking politician, dude.
They're politicians,
they have the reputation for a fucking reason.
Yeah,
and it's only gotten worse. It's only gotten worse.
They're part of the biggest gang in the world.
That's fair.
American government, baby.
Yeah, 100%. We definitely throw that muscle around.
It's like I remember it was a Tupac interview. He's like, where do you think Bloods and Crips came from?
Yeah,
red and blue.
True.
We learned it from the U.S. government.
Yeah,
number one
gang in the world.
Like, you look like we've been at, and
perpetually.
Look, we're in the right country.
Very grateful for that.
I love this country.
Absolutely,
I'm all for it. We got the first and second. As long as we got that, I'm good.
I'm all right.
You know what I mean? I always tell people like we're the only country in the world with true free speech.
Yes, not even Canada has it.
Yeah. Literally, and like that blows people's minds.
I don't.
No. I'm like, no. True free speech.
Yeah. Which is the great, like, obviously you should believe in where you live or leave. From a city level to a state level to a country level, if you don't like the U.S. government, leave.
You don't have to be here.
Go.
Yeah, I've lived overseas. There's lots of places.
You're more than welcome to go anywhere else. We're all capable
no one overseas
of going.
Thinks we landed on the moon either.
Yeah.
I promise. That's an American thing.
Yeah, but we definitely got the Ruskies to lose a lot of money. So, but yeah, like I do, and it is because of our ability to free speech why I am like, as much as politics is utter fucking nonsense, why I keep going back and working at it, because with that tool you can get it done. But I've started to stand up against the game in a lot of ways, like this pack nonsense.
Well, that's how you stand out,
dude. Fuck that.
It's like, I saw a meme. It's like a bunch of the tops of pencils, like a bunch of erasers, but then they're the bottoms of the pencils, right?
Okay.
But they're not sharpened, and there's one that's sharpened. It's like, your mind goes right to it. It's like, which one do you want to be? You want to stand out, or
100%.
You have to stand out. You have to be a cog in the system.
And no matter what
you definitely have to.
But you're still playing the game.
You got to put the suit and tie on.
You follow Jordan Peterson at all?
It sounds familiar.
He was like a clinical psychologist. He's Canadian, but he got big because
he's been on Rogan, right?
Yeah. And he's kind of like the new. I mean, he's selling it. He released the book, The 12 Rules of Life or whatever. That's his book.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So he's like the polarizing guy that came out against the training. It wasn't against the training. It was because Canada came out with a law that you could go to jail if you didn't identify somebody by their gender pronoun. You had to refer to them. So they're basically infringing on your free speech. They're basically telling you that you have to. You can now go to jail if you, are trying to. If somebody wants to be called a unicorn or something like. You know, so but that's how he became
I'm
famous,
okay with anybody wanting to be called anything.
You can
just
do whatever you want.
Don't get upset if I fuck it up.
Yeah,
just don't send me to jail if I don't prescribe to the fact that you're a fucking
unicorn.
Yeah,
a unicorn.
Like, cool.
Especially if I don't know. I don't
know that the unicorns are things. I always thought they were speckled horse cocks. But yeah, do your own thing, man.
Yeah,
do your own thing, man.
I don't even remember what I was gonna say now. Speckled horse cocks. That's what's going through my head now.
They're distracting.
No, but you should look into Jordan Peterson, man. He's solid.
I will.
I'll
make a note of it.
The thing about him is he's big into hierarchies, right? Like everything's a hierarchy, right? Like any free market, any capitalistic, you know. So he's like big on the right, you know, because he basically is speaking out against the left, even though he's not right, he's not left.
It's Canadian.
But he's basically just pointing out how fucking
that is a Canadian. To all my Canadian brethren up there, some of my best friends.
Yeah.